What's up guys, Casual Avenger back again, and today I want to give an honest and objective review of Spider-Man's hero event for Marvel's Avengers. And for anyone new to the channel, I've been playing the game since it launched last September, so I didn't just come back to give an ill-informed take on how he fits into the game, but I will be fair, so I'll tell you everything I liked as well as the things they could have done better with him. But I just wanted to give people some context because I've seen a lot of takes from people who clearly don't play or even like Marvel's Avengers, which is unfair to the game's developers and anyone looking for honest feedback about the game. But with all that out the way, let's jump into it. So one of the main things being said about Spider-Man's hero event is that it doesn't come with a story, and technically that's not true. There is a story being told, it's just not in the form of new mission content, but rather through 2 cutscenes and several audio files you unlock by completing his objectives. Now on one hand, I completely get why some players feel shorted by not getting new mission content, because with the promise of a live service game, you expect new missions for as long as the game support it. But on the other hand, there are players who clearly are just looking for a single player experience and what at this point should be exclusively multiplayer content, and that's the fault of the developers because too much focus was put on the story and not multiplayer in-game content. I would have loved to play through new missions for Spider-Man, and I think adding a mission chain about Spider-Man fighting Spider Slayer robots and drones would have been an easy addition with Spencer Smythe being a part of the AIM conspiracy. But as it is, you just hear about his involvement with AIM and that's it. So I would give the story portion of his event a 1 out of 5 because it just wasn't very fun to play. Grinding through his objectives and running back and forth to the anthill was more tedious than fun, and in the future, if we see more hero events, I hope they put more effort into adding meaningful content, similar to Black Widow's iconic mission chain where it literally wraps up in 2 missions, and if they want, they can tease something at the end like they did with Thor's mission. Moving on to his gameplay, this is the area where their version of Spider-Man will receive the most criticism, but also will be the best opportunity to shine. And after playing as Spider-Man for 2.5 days, he is by far one of the most fun characters to be added to this game so far. I've seen all the comparisons between Insomniac's version and this one as far as looks and gameplay, and as you level up his skills, you can clearly see where they took inspiration from Insomniac, but I think it's because that's the version most people have played the most in recent years, so they did as much as they could to help players feel at home playing as their Spider-Man. They added in sky swinging so players don't feel limited when traversing large open areas, and they even mapped his swing to the right back trigger just like Insomniac. They also added in air takedowns for him, which makes him more unique in their game because currently no other heroes have air takedowns. He also has his own status effect with his webbing that immobilizes enemies with the exception of bosses. And while his takedowns don't feel as polished as the ones in Spider-Man PS4, the fact that he has so many that just feel like Spider-Man takedowns is impressive. I was worried from the gameplay trailer that because of his animations looking similar to Black Panther, he wouldn't feel very different when fighting with melee, but between web zipping the enemies and yanking them around, he both feels completely unique in the game, but also very much like the Spider-Man we've been playing on the PS4 for the past few years. Ever since we saw the Avengers Tower in Spider-Man's game, we've been hoping to see him team up with the Avengers, and Crystal Dynamics made that happen. He's not the strongest hero in the game, but he has the fastest traversal, and once you level him up and get a solid build with a damage buff and some battery effect going, he's definitely in the top tier of fun heroes, and he's amazing for crowd control. I'll give his gameplay a 4 out of 5 because aside from a few glitches with takedowns, not being able to web up bosses, and occasionally getting mixed up from running up walls when you don't mean to, Spider-Man is legit amazing to play as in the Marvel's Avengers. He's definitely worth leveling up, and there's already some solid build videos up for him, so just grind vaults and farm hives in the harm room with an XP consumable and you'll be at level 50 before you know it. The last thing I'll touch on is his cosmetics because they're such a big part of the game at this point. I think Crystal Dynamics art team did a solid job on most of his costumes, with my favorites being the iconic and the classic so far. And they even made me like the Secret Wars costume, and while most of the suits available are recolors, some of them are pretty impressive, and with the release of No Way Home right around the corner, I'm sure we'll see his MCU skins hit the marketplace pretty soon. but I will say they did kind of let me down with the big time suit and his Mark IV suit. So I give them a 3 out of 5 on the cosmetics because overall, I think most of what they had to offer so far was pretty decent. Now clearly if you hate the game at this point, nothing's going to change your opinion of it, and with Spider-Man being a PlayStation exclusive, he of course was going to generate a lot of hate before he was even released. But honestly, he is fun to play in the game, and swinging around with him is as good as it could be in this type of game. It's not a Spider-Man game, so while they did change a few things to make players more comfortable playing the Spider-Man in their game, he's an addition to the Avengers game. So he was never going to be swinging up way past the Empire State Building or anything like that. So as a player who's played the game since its launch, and I've accepted the game for what it is, I can objectively say that while they did skimp on adding any meaningful content for him as far as a story, his gameplay does kind of make up for that. And as one of the players who actually gets to play as him, I think it would be unfair to bash on a perfectly good character addition that players on the other platforms would genuinely enjoy if we all had access to him equally. He doesn't suck, and he's not a disappointment in my opinion. Overall, I would give this hero event about a 3 out of 5. In the future, if they release more hero events, I would like to see more mission content, even if it's in the form of just 1 or 2 missions. I really think that would go a long way with players, and I do think they need to take a step back on the expansive story for so many characters. Not all characters need a major story expansion. This isn't a single player game at this point, so I think they do need to focus more on multiplayer content. But those are my thoughts on Spider-Man and Marvel's Avengers. You guys feel free to let me know what you think of them so far down in the comments. And once I complete the raid, I will do a review for that as well. I've been mostly working on Spider-Man since he dropped, so I'll try to get that out as soon as possible. But if you enjoyed the review, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new, because I make new videos on Marvel's Avengers content and news every week. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.